to The Insider, the ongoing video series that keeps you up to date on everything Independence Pro Wrestling. I am the voice of IPW, J-Rod. After the shocking formation of Black Excellence, the aptly named Excellence event began with IPW Cyber Champion LaDon Sanders and new IPW World Champion Jamal King making their way to the ring to cement their place as the top of the food chain. King first offered a warning to his unnamed opponent for the evening, then announced at Warfare he will lead a team consisting of himself, Sanders, and two others against a team led by Chad Alpha. Alpha immediately interrupted and said, "To hell with that, I want a title shot tonight." As soon as King rejected the challenge, Big Jorge came out. Jorge told everyone that he didn't really understand why Alpha was getting a chance to lead a team against King. Jorge did have a bit of a point. While we can all agree that it was total bullshit due to the no DQ stipulation, King did beat Alpha fair and square for the title. Jorge actually suggested that it should be he who leads a team at Warfare and not Alpha, and challenged Alpha for that right. We all know Chad Alpha never backs down from a challenge. Black Excellence took off, and Alpha and Jorge went to battle. Black Excellence would re-emerge later in the match to distract Alpha, and Big Jorge pulled off the shocking upset, not only making him the new IPW Championship #1 contender, but the captain of the team scheduled to face off with Black Excellence and company this Saturday at Warfare. A second big upset was coming up next, as the main topic, Storm Garcon, took out the arguable Women's Championship #1 contender, the Honey Badger, Lil Missy. This match was expected to be too much for Garcon, as she still hasn't quite gotten her footing in IPW. However, she just would not be denied. After the big win, Garcon showed her respects to Lil Missy, then showed her eagerness to get a rematch against the champ, Thunder Kitty LaFleur, who had her way with Garcon when they first met just a few months ago. The rapid progression of her skills makes this rematch an intriguing one that was completely unexpected, but now very appealing. They are expected to collide this Saturday at Warfare. Earlier in the evening, Real Hype issued an apology to DeUpers for Max Morris's behavior at Grave Danger. Real Hype assured DeUpers that this time, no matter what, the better team will come out on top, and they will shake hands afterward. Max Morrison, looking disgusted, was caught spying on them from afar. We don't know what he had on his mind, especially because he hasn't been thinking clearly since Jeremiah's return this summer. Speaking of Max Morrison, he would go one-on-one with effing brutal Brutus Dillon in our next match. Early on, Morrison tweaked his knee and could never recover. Instead of just putting Morrison away, Brutus Dillon played with his food until the referee had enough and called for the bell. If a win wasn't enough, Brutus stopped Morrison out a few more times before leaving ringside. One has to wonder where the hell Real Hype was. Were they busy preparing for their match, or did they just let their boy get his ass beat? Sometimes when you come into a company with visible potential, you can find yourself in an opportune position right away, and that is exactly what happened when highly touted prospect, the investment Avery Hertz, made his debut and would challenge the new IPW Michiana champion, Anderson Knight. Hertz showed a great skill set and offered a stern challenge to the new champ, but Anderson hit the nightfall and wiped Hertz out for the clean victory in his first title defense. IPW newcomer Tyler Diamond took on Cheris Gray. These guys had a fun and evenly matched back-and-forth contest that was eventually won by Cheris Gray. Cheris continues to keep an even record in IPW, and we are waiting to see if he can break through or if he will continue to be a gatekeeper. The IPW Cyber Championship was up for grabs as the Bonebreaker Nate Cobain, Midwest Misfit Ominous Ramirez, and a debuting Darren Fly went after LaDon Sanders. All three challengers gave LaDon Sanders a run for his money. This match was the definition of a crowd pleaser, and it looked like any of these guys could leave with the belt at any moment. It looked like it would be the newcomer, Darren Fly, as he soared through the air on a dive to the outside, taking the others out. But they don't call those moves high risk for no reason, as Fly dislocated his shoulder on a bad landing. Referees surrounded Fly to help him out of the match, but this left Nate Cobain all alone in the ring with LaDon Sanders. Cobain hit Sanders with a beautiful pump handle tombstone pile driver. The referee could have counted to 100 if there was one of those in the ring. Cobain started shouting for the referees, and finally one got in the ring to continue officiating the match. Just in time for LaDon Sanders to recover, hit Cobain with the cheek clapper, and steal the win. Jamal King came out to celebrate with LaDon Sanders, and Cobain, clearly feeling slighted with the outcome, stayed behind for a moment. Noticing Cobain looking on in disappointment, LaDon Sanders and Jamal King began gloating and offered Cobain to get back into the ring. Thank God he didn't. He would have just gotten jumped by Sanders and King. Nate Cobain should be the new Cyber Champion, but the title remains with Black Excellence. At grave danger, Terry Van Avery finally got payback on Josh Raymond when he aided in Raymond losing the Michiana Championship. Raymond was so upset about getting humiliated last month that he went to management and asked for another match with TVA at 2024's finale, Cold War, on December 28th. On top of that, Raymond would be a part of Jamal King's team, and TVA would be on the other side. Josh Raymond threatened Terry, saying that if he didn't come to the ring and apologize for everything he's done to Josh, that Josh would fuck him up so bad at Warfare that he won't even make it to Cold War. TVA busted through the curtain. For the first time in a while, all smiles. Van Avery got in the ring and had a verbal back and forth with Josh Raymond, clowning Raymond and pissing him off even more, to the point that Raymond eventually said he would fight Terry right now. But when Terry called his bluff, Josh jumped out of the ring and scurried to the back. We have been waiting patiently. There is no question that this is a rematch that absolutely needs to happen, and we will finally see them go one-on-one at Cold War in Grand Rapids on December 28th. But before that, they will see each other this Saturday at Warfare in Lansing. After beating the tag team champions by disqualification at grave danger, it was clear that the Ubers would get a second shot at the titles. Real Hype is among the greatest tag teams IPW has ever seen, if not the greatest. But with how things have been going with Max Morrison, they aren't necessarily on their A game. This thing was a back and forth nail biter. Eventually, Max Morrison made his way back down to ringside, looking to interfere. Jimmy Sholwin demanded Max not get involved, but Max couldn't help himself. Unfortunately, though, he accidentally hit Jimmy Sholwin, causing Sholwin to be knocked out in the sharpshooter, and the referee was forced to call for the bell, making the Ubers our new IPW Tag Team Champions. Before they had a chance to celebrate, two Hexuses came to the ring and assaulted the Ubers. When Real Hype tried to stop the assault, they got some of it too. Max Morrison stood by and hesitated before finally coming to save everyone. Jimmy Sholwin tore into Max Morrison, and Morrison left ringside pissed off. Real Hype kept their word though. No matter what, they shook hands afterwards. Both teams want payback though, and they will team up together at Warfare to take on the Hexus Collective. Mondo Real also asked management to put Brutus Dillon with the Hexus' members as a way to get some give back for Max Morrison, and Dillon has agreed. Max Morrison is on injured reserve and will not participate in the match. I want to know if Morrison has any hard feelings toward Sholwin, or if he is grateful to Mondo for trying to get even with Brutus Dillon on Morrison's behalf. Hopefully we can get answers from Morrison at Warfare. It'll be Real Hype and the Upers versus Brutus Dillon and the Hexus Collective in our first of two huge elimination tag team matches. It was time for our main event, and it was announced a hardcore match, so we already knew Jamal King's first challenge of his third reign would be Casey Tempest. While hardcore may be Tempest's specialty, he was in the ring with the cream of the crop of IPW, and weapons actually made it worse for Tempest. Casey never quit, but Jamal King beat the shit out of him. Pro wrestling is a game of sudden victory though. Figuratively speaking, you could be losing a match by 100 points, but if you hit one perfect move, you only need to hold the other guy's shoulder down for 3 seconds to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. That was just about to happen as Casey Tempest spiked Jamal King on his head with the death mark and pinned King in the center of the ring. The ref counted 1, 2, then was pulled out of the ring by LaDon Sanders. Hardcore rules, it was all legal. This thing was a 2-on-1 beatdown for the next 10 minutes as LaDon Sanders held Casey in position while Jamal King continued to smash him with devastating high-impact moves over and over until Nate Cobain finally sprinted to ringside and went after LaDon Sanders, taking Sanders out of the equation. This opened a window of opportunity for Casey Tempest, but ultimately he had just taken too much damage to capitalize. Jamal King locked in the Supreme Lock, and Tempest passed out from the punishment. Jamal King will cruise into Warfare still the IPW champion. At the conclusion of the event, Chad Alpha and TVA welcomed Nate Cobain to their Warfare team as they expressed concerns about their captain. Big Jorge caught up with them though, reminding them that he has beaten all 3 of them and deserves to be the captain of their team. Jorge told them the only way he can beat the other team is if we work together, so fall in line. With that, our main event matchup at Warfare will be a 4-on-4 elimination tag team matchup, with team number 1 led by IPW champion Jamal King and consisting of LaDon Sanders, Josh Raymond, and a new unnamed member of Black Excellence. They will clash with the team of Terry Van Avery, Nate Kobe, Chad Alpha, and their new tag team captain, Big Jorge. Warfare is going to be fucking insane. That concludes this edition of The Insider. Join us on Saturday, November 23rd at Royal Scott in Lansing, Michigan, as IPW presents Warfare.